What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? How y'all doing? It's your boy Noname back at it with the Hub Giants talk. In this case, another update video. As y'all all know, we're heading towards that boring part of the off season, or at least boring to most people. You know, we finished with the exciting stuff. We finished with free agency, the combine, the draft process, and the draft itself. Finished with all that exciting stuff, additions to the new team and all that. I went over a couple of the undrafted free agents last time that we picked up, and we even picked up some more than that. And now it's like, with the rookie training camp being concluded this past weekend, now it's just we're waiting for like OTAs, getting the team back on the field, and a couple of some pads instead of just shirts and shorts on the field. You know, getting them to acclimate with each other and all that. And then, you know, it's just to wait until the season, really. Any moves that are made during this time, I mean, there's not really that much. You know, it's not until like the season starts that we see more moves made. But right now is the mellower part of the off season. I'll always have some up for you guys. Wednesdays and Sundays, y'all know my upload schedule. If anything big happens, I'll try to get it out that same day. With that being said, let's get right into it. I'm gonna talk about the rookie training camp. So it took place just this past weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we got to see both the drafted and undrafted rookies, along with a couple of kids that the Giants just brought in and gave them some contracts to just bring them in and practice and see who could possibly break into the roster, the first 90-man roster before they break it down to the 53-man roster. You know, we got to see, of course, it's not exactly like they're all top talent. It's not exactly as though all the guys that were at the rookie training camp are going to make the team. That's just both impossible and unrealistic. But there's always diamonds in the rough you could look out for, you know what I'm saying? A couple takeaways. That's what I'm going to start off with, you know, just to give a little organization to the video for you guys. I'm going to talk about how our first round picks panned out, how a couple other draft picks looked at the camp, and then a couple of guys that were undrafted free agents, and then one specific person that just I never heard of in my life before. You know, I'm just going to talk about them, and then I'll give like an overall view of the camp at the end. Of course, disclaimer, the rookie training camp, it's without pads. It's just them in shorts and shirts. They're just on the field, you know, by themselves, no helmets, no added on extra weight. No NFL competition, technically. Just the coaches and some players that can make the team. So first player, we're going to talk about our boy DJ, Daniel Jones. I'll admit, I was a bit overhyped about Daniel Jones. You know, calm down a little bit. I still think he could be one of the best quarterbacks in this league if he develops correctly, if he works with Pat Shurmur correctly. I still think he could be one of those guys. I still think he could be the best quarterback in this draft moving forward. But I kind of came down from, you know, me saying like, bro, Daniel Jones will be the only quarterback left from this group in a couple years. Like, nah, I kind of calmed down a little bit. But what we learned from the this training camp is that he basically matches Pat Shurmur's system of a lot of short passes, a lot of play action, a lot of run, and then only a couple of passes deep into the corners and whatnot. That's the type of system Pat Shurmur runs. Like, that's why his quarterbacks always have high completion percentages. Case Keenum and Sam Bradford. That's why Eli had the highest completion percentage of his career last year. It's also why we saw a lot of dink and dunks. I mean, that's just the name of the game. Is the game that Shurmur runs, and he runs it well. I think last year we kind of got annoyed with it because we're not used to seeing it. It's definitely a system change. I personally prefer a more vertical offense, but if you look at the NFL, this is where winning's been happening. I mean, Tom Brady has won Super Bowls just dinking and dunking. And, you know, just throwing short passes. A lot of quarterbacks live in the short routes now. A lot of offenses thrive in the short route and big run game. And I think it matches our system pretty good. I mean, we have two of the best yards after catch receivers on our team in Shepard and in Golden Tate. We have a couple possession receivers, or I guess I should say probably one if he could stay healthy, in Cody Latimer. That's kind of why, you know, you could toss in bringing back up the Odell trade while we kind of got rid of him. He doesn't fit this system as much as he does the vertical offense system. That's why the wide receiver we took was so late, and we took one that could take the top off the defense to free up the run for Saquon, you know, and not somebody that would demand the ball as much as a number one receiver like Odell. That's the system they're trying to run here, and Daniel Jones fits it perfectly. He always had an average arm in college, and he can get it downfield. Of course, there's a myth out there that, you know, he doesn't have the arm strength to get it downfield. Trust me, he could get it downfield. He showed that in the training camp. He showed that he has great accuracy in the short and mid-range. He zips the ball only when he needs to zip it, you know. Sometimes the quarterback throws the ball too hard, it goes in and out of the receiver's hands. You know, that's on the receiver, but it's also on the quarterback, you know. It's like the type of play. You don't need to throw hard all the time. So he knows when to throw hard. He knows when to lob it up and all that. He also always makes the right play. If the play isn't there, if his route isn't developing, he'll look to get the ball somewhere else, or he'll just throw it out. Of course, we know this from his college days, but it once again showed in the training camp. Also saw that he tried to stay calm, cool, and collected in the pocket. Once again, like I said, disclaimer, this is just all rookies out there, so you could take it how you wish to take it. But I basically see it as this guy just fits our system. Another reason why we took him, maybe Dwayne Haskins did not fit our system as much, and I believe that when I think about it more and more, because you need some type of mobility to be out there. We saw Eli move out the pocket last year more than I can ever remember him moving out the pocket. I don't know if Haskins has that type of mobility that we're going to require of him, that type of athleticism. Next up, our big boy Dexter Lawrence, taken with number 17 overall. Takeaways from him: versatility. That's the one word I'll say for this guy right here, versatility, and probably the word for our defense. We have a lot of defensive tackles, defensive linemen in general, and I commented on it various times during my draft recap and the undrafted free agents video. But what I'm seeing here, what I'm starting to see develop, is that Betcher and probably Gettleman want a defense that's more versatile than anything. Dexter Lawrence at training camp practiced at and played at all three positions on the defensive line. So that would be 3-4 defensive ends, left end, right end, and also 3-4 defensive tackle and nose tackle really. But when we picked him up, I actually thought, my first reaction was, we're probably gonna put him on the outside because Dalvin Tomlinson was our current nose tackle. Then Tomlinson on the Giants Instagram page, like on some type of Giants insider that they put up every now and then, he was saying that he's trying to lose weight, he's trying to cut down so he could be leaner and get to the quarterback more. So then I'm like, maybe Dexter is gonna just shift inside then. I mean, it's not as though he doesn't know how to play there, and it's not as though he doesn't have production there. He knows how to push the pocket really well and get his hands on the ball, whether it's a tip or a sack. So, but now apparently we're going to play him at all three positions, which I have no problem with, because we did something similar with Tomlinson and BJ Hill. Like, those would be our starting three defensive tackles. In any order you want to put them: Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence, BJ Hill. And I think that's a pretty strong lineup. If all of them could play all three positions, it could cause chaos for, you know, opposing offenses that we face up during the season. And right here, it says that Lawrence has been doing pretty good. He opened the training camp practicing in each position, and he will be a 3-down defensive lineman, is what it's looking like from this point out. He'll replace Tomlinson if Tomlinson goes outside. Tomlinson will replace him when he needs to go inside. I think it's going to be just a defense that tries to keep everybody on their toes. Maybe that's why we took so many cornerbacks as well, because Gettleman did say he wanted to see how Julian Love would play at the safety position. And then for our third guy, our third person taken in the first round, DeAndre Baker, probably the best cornerback taken out this draft. One word for him, if I said one word for Lawrence. One word for Jones would be fit. Lawrence would be versatility. Baker would be lockdown. And this guy, no touchdowns allowed in the past 2 years of his college career. Yeah, that's lockdown. He's also shown it here in the training camp. He doesn't have the blazing speed, which a lot of people look for in corner nowadays, but like on the field, he doesn't allow much separation. He's very physical. He plays like a bump and run press corner, which is exactly the type of corners we need for James Betcher's defensive system. And because of that, he doesn't really allow much separation. He doesn't need speed to prevent a guy from blazing him, or prevent a guy from burning him up. He just needs a bit of quickness, and he has that on the field, and really good ball awareness. I was watching a highlight that they put up, because they put up very scarcely, very little highlights on the Giants website and all that. And it's basically, it looked like he was getting beat by this guy, and it was a deep pass downfield, and he turned his head just in time to tip the pass over into another cornerback's hand. Not an undrafted free agent, just another guy that they gave a contract to that came in. I think he was an undrafted free agent actually, but He basically turned his head just in time to tip the ball away and cause an interception for his teammate. And I think, that's one thing we really need in our corners. We don't necessarily need interceptions. We just need for pass incompletions. That's it. You don't really need interceptions to have a good secondary. And right now, our secondary is looking like the strongest point of our defense. It's a toss-up between that and our defensive line. Obviously, our linebackers need to improve, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. OShane Ximena. OShane Ximena, the outside linebacker, or if you want to call him the edge rusher out of Old Dominion. He also looked really good at training camp. Now, of course, I'm going to stress because I think you need to realize, I think we all need to just take a step back sometimes, that they are playing without pads. They are playing against competition that is both lower than them and on the same level as them. So, I like to see that we're having good results there, because obviously if you're having bad results in a rookie training camp, something's up. Did we waste a pig on you? Questions like that comes up. But with OShane Ximena is the exact opposite. This guy on the rookie training camp field has proved to be the best edge rusher possible according to Giants beat reporters. He was very quick on the field, and I just can't wait to see him actually against higher competition. I want to see him against our offensive linemen. I want to see how our offensive linemen block against him, because he's extremely quick with both his hands and his motor. Now I want to talk about a couple undrafted free agents that I actually mentioned in my video, and these were two guys I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they break it into the 90-man roster. The first one is tight end CJ Conrad. And I mentioned in that video that CJ Conrad reminds me a lot of one of the tight ends we already had, Rhett Ellison. And a fun fact for you guys is in college, one of Daniel Jones' favorite target was his tight end. Can't call his name to my head right now, but he always loved to throw to his tight end. So we got to see a lot of that action, a lot of that chemistry on the field within these 3 days. Basically, although this guy was scouted as a blocking tight end, we basically see him catching the ball and running for yards and behaving like a receiver. And that's not a bad thing. I'm saying, like, versatility. Like, the defense is very versatile. We got a tight end that's very versatile now. He blocks extremely well, and he was catching balls like a receiver and running it down the field like a running back. He looks like an NFL starter. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Conrad, both by his tape and by what I'm reading here on, if you guys want to know, the websites that I usually check out is Giants Wire, Giants.com, NJ.com, NewJersey.com, and 24/7 Sports Giants. So, dude, those are just a couple. You gotta get your sources from somewhere, and I'm trying to bring it to you guys. But everything that I'm reading is saying that this guy looks like he should have been taken within the mid rounds of the NFL draft, but he wasn't because of some type of medical condition. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully that condition, improves and doesn't really affect him. But he's playing like an NFL starter tight end. I said this before. I think Rhett Ellison is extremely underrated. There was times in the seasons where I said to myself, he could be our starting tight end, and I wouldn't be mad about it because he plays like it. He's just overpaid. And when you think about this pickup here, it's almost as though they're looking for a replacement for him, because CJ Conrad is a blocking tight end that catches really well and moves the ball really well. Rhett Ellison is a blocking tight end that catches really well and moves the ball really well. He's just overpaid. As much as he is underrated, he's just as much overpaid for his position as a backup tight end. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised, nor would I be disappointed if Conrad comes in as our number 2 and we let go of Ellison or something, whether that's this year or next year. But I'm excited for this kid. And the other undrafted free agent I want to talk about was Josiah Waddle. Once again, guys, let me know if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. I'm, just going off of what's in the parentheses here, and also just off of base knowledge. Waddle basically plays like what I said he was. He looks like somebody that has really good ball instincts and always knows where to go, whether it's to the running back, to a receiver, or to the quarterback for the ball. He played with a great motor throughout the weekend. But the reporters and just Giants media people were really impressed by him over the weekend. And one of the best plays that stood out to me was that he was out here in coverage actually, and he positioned himself perfectly to hit a slant that would have resulted in a big hit over the middle if he wasn't there. That's word for word what the Giants beat reporters are saying. Waddle is another person I think that could make the 90-man roster, possibly even the 53-man roster, just because of how weak our linebacker core is past our starters of Lorenzo Carter, OShane Ximena, Alec Ogletree, and I'm not sure who the other middle linebacker is right now. It could be Ryan Connolly instead of BJ Goodson. They could move Toefa into the outside. They could put him on the inside. I don't know. I think he'd be more suited as an inside linebacker, whether that's backup or starting, because he has really good coverage skills. And I like my outside boys to just be blitzing towards the quarterback. But wherever they put him, I think he'll be a good fit, just because our linebacker depth is not the best. It's a very mediocre core overall. And while I do hope and I do think that Carter and Ximena could really blossom this year, the inside is really weak. I mean, Alec Ogletree can be considered overrated by some. I think he's just average. You know what I'm saying? Like, the general idea is that we need better linebackers. Hopefully Connolly, and if Toefa makes a team, can help us improve that core. And speaking of linebackers, the last dude I want to talk about is an edge rusher, outside linebacker, Nate Harvey from East Carolina. Now, Nate Harvey, he wasn't one of the undrafted free agents I got wind of. In fact, he's not like one of those, I guess you could call it, official undrafted free agents. He's just one of the guys the Giants brought in. And according to him, there was an interview of him done by Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, at footballgameplan.com. You guys could check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. But it was a very short interview, and according to Nate, the Giants were the only team that gave this guy a chance and gave him a contract to come in and play. And I was surprised by that, because at East Carolina, he posted relatively good stats. He had 12 sacks in his final college season. He's around 237 pounds, which is a bit lighter than I would like my edge rushers to be. I want him to be around, like, I don't know, like 240, 250 would be amazing. But that's because he used to play running back before he switched over to defense. And this guy, he's similar to basically our other edge rushers right now. He matches the scheme of quickness over strength, and it's not as though he's weak. It's just, that's his forte. The sad thing about him is, while he did impress at the training camp, he unfortunately got knocked out because of a non-contact injury, which is probably another reason why teams didn't pick him up, both because he's undersized and maybe there's a medical history there. A non-contact injury, in my opinion, is the worst type of injury for a football player in terms of if they're looking to start their career, because you haven't even touched the field. It wasn't like you were hit in the middle of a game or middle of practice. Like, we don't know what happened. You were just injured off the field, and I don't know whether that speaks to whether you're fragile or it was just an unfortunate accident. But I hope he comes back. I hope he recovers, because I've heard really good things about him, and I wouldn't mind him to be on the team. So that's the update video this time, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the rookies, whether it's the drafted ones, undrafted, or the guys we just brought in from colleges, all across the country. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you liked. Like I said, other than the drafted rookies, because I love all of our drafted rookies, I'm really interested in CJ Conrad, Josiah Toefa, and hopefully Nate Harvey if he could come back healthy. Let me know what you think. Just another news update video. I'll have something else coming out on Sunday, and I'm trying to get some skits done, some entertainment for y'all. After all, the channel's name is The Hub Sports Talk and Entertainment. So be on the lookout for those. Not sure when it's going to be finished, but I'll have them out. That's it for today.